Is meat healthy for insulin resistance, or is it something you should be consuming only in moderation, if at all? In today's video, we're going to break it all down and talk about which types of meat, if any, are healthy for insulin resistance. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a certified health and nutrition coach. I post videos here on YouTube twice a week talking all things insulin resistance, weight loss, sleep, and more. So if you're ready to take control of your metabolic health, make sure to click that subscribe button. And you can also find me on TikTok and Instagram, where I share new posts every single day. Today's video is sponsored by ButcherCrowd. For 100% grass-fed meat, pasture-raised chicken and pork, and wild-caught seafood delivered straight to your door Australia-wide, head to healthcoachkate.com/ButcherCrowd. Now, spoiler alert, but meat is not the cause of insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes, despite it often getting a lot of the blame. It is true that diets higher in meat, and red meat especially, are associated with an increased risk of insulin resistance and diabetes. However, correlation does not equal causation. Just because two things occur simultaneously does not mean that one causes the other. There's actually no solid evidence that meat causes insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, or any associated disease. A 22 review paper concluded that red meat intake did not impact glycemic and insulinemic risk factors for type 2 diabetes, despite what some vegan documentaries might say. In fact, the opposite is true. Meat, and red meat especially, can help to improve insulin sensitivity and reverse insulin resistance. Another recent review paper that looked at red meat specifically found that on average, red meat improved blood sugar and markers of insulin sensitivity and didn't increase inflammation. So in today's video, we're going to talk about why this is actually the case and 4 reasons why you should be consuming more meat if you're looking to reverse insulin resistance. Reason number 1 is that it helps to control blood sugar. When we are insulin resistant, our bodies are not efficiently regulating blood sugar. So we see bigger fluctuations both up and down than someone who is metabolically healthy would see. And meat can help to stabilize it. Meat is high in protein, has next to no carbohydrates, and has good fat to varying degrees based on the type and the cut. And this is good for blood sugar because, as I said, meat contains next to no carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are the macronutrient that spikes blood sugar the most. And because it spikes blood sugar, it takes a lot of insulin to process. Fat requires next to no insulin to process, and protein requires a little bit to varying degrees based on the rest of your diet. So on its own, meat is very blood sugar and insulin friendly, but it's also great when you pair it with carbohydrates, which would otherwise spike your blood sugar. Eating carbs in isolation is one of the worst things you can do if you're insulin resistant. And especially if you're eating carbs in isolation first thing in the morning. Because the key to reversing insulin resistance is keeping your insulin low. When our insulin is low, this is when our cells start to regain sensitivity. When insulin is high, our cells become overwhelmed and they start to resist its actions. Now, when we eat carbohydrates in isolation, they cause a big spike in our blood sugar, especially if they're refined carbohydrates. And again, this takes a lot of insulin to process. But when we pair these foods with meat, it helps to slow down digestion. The spike is less significant and less insulin is needed all at once. Now, I will say that it is important to not skimp on the fat, because for individuals who are severely insulin resistant, too much protein without adequate fat can sometimes be turned to glucose and cause a bump in blood sugar. So don't trim the fat. It's good for you, and it's especially important if you're trying to reverse insulin resistance. The second reason is that meat helps to maintain muscle mass. And maintaining and building lean muscle mass helps to improve insulin sensitivity. Most people, especially women, are under-consuming protein. Everyone should be aiming for at least 1 gram of protein per pound of their ideal body weight. Most women are consuming less than half of that in a day. And when we underconsume protein, we lose muscle mass. And this isn't just about being strong physically. Your muscles are the biggest consumers of glucose in the body. Most of the excess excess glucose in our bloodstream is actually stored in our muscles. So the more muscle mass you have, the more room your body has to store glucose. And the more room for storage means less insulin will be needed. And again, when insulin is lower, this means your cells have more of a chance to become more sensitive to it again. Now, aside from insulin resistance, maintaining muscle mass is especially important as we age. Having less muscle mass makes you more prone to falls and injury. It can impact your heart health, and it's been linked to a shorter life expectancy in older adults. Red meat is a complete protein source, meaning it contains all the essential amino acids we need in balanced amounts, which helps us to build and maintain muscle mass. Now, it's really difficult to meet your protein needs if you are limiting or avoiding meat and animal products in your diet. Plant protein sources such as beans and legumes don't even contain that much protein unless you're consuming them in massive amounts. And they also come with a lot of carbs, which is problematic for insulin resistance, as we discussed when we were talking about blood sugar. With meat, you don't have that issue. Now, before we get into the final two reasons why meat is beneficial for insulin resistance, I'm going to tell you how you can get quality meat and seafood delivered straight to your door Australia-wide, which can support you in your journey to reversing insulin resistance. ButcherCrowd is an Australian company whose mission is to connect households with certified humanely raised and sustainably sourced premium meat and wild-caught seafood products. With 6 boxes to choose from, plus the option to customize your own, ButcherCrowd makes accessing healthy and sustainable meat easy. All of their products are 100% grass-fed and finished, pasture-raised, and free-range. They are certified sustainably sourced and humanely raised and handled. And they are non-GMO with no hormones or antibiotics added to promote growth. Like I said, ButcherCrowd delivers straight to your door Australia-wide, and you can pause or cancel your subscription at any time. If you'd like to check them out, you can head to healthcoachkate.com/ButcherCrowd and use code KATE15 to save 15% off your first box. Thanks to ButcherCrowd for sponsoring this video. Reason number 3 that meat is good for insulin resistance is that it makes fasting easier. I've spoken about fasting and insulin resistance on my channel many times. You might have seen some of my other videos. And this is because incorporating some form of intermittent fasting into your routine is the fastest way to improve insulin sensitivity and ultimately reverse insulin resistance. We've spoken about the importance of keeping insulin low. And insulin drops significantly when we don't eat for several hours, aka when we're fasting. Now, if you've never done any sort of fasting before, this might sound overwhelming. But here's the thing, because protein plays such a key role in satiety, when you consume enough throughout the day, during your meals, you're less hungry in between meals, and fasting becomes easier. This is because of something known as the protein leverage hypothesis. This hypothesis states that we will continue to be hungry until our protein needs are met, independent of how much we are eating. So when we eat foods that are high in just carbohydrates, high in just fat, or high in both of them that have little protein, these foods are very easy to overconsume. Think of French fries, for example. High in carbs, they have a bit of fat, but next to no protein. And it is so easy to just mindlessly eat French fries and not feel full. You can easily get to the point where you feel stuffed and bloated. But with something like steak, when you're eating it on its own, it's a lot more difficult to get to this point. When you reach the point that you're full, you simply stop eating. And you don't have the same urge to continue picking at your food. Now, with fasting, it doesn't have to be extreme. Even just aiming for 12 hours a day when you're first getting started, this can make a big difference. But if you're significantly overweight or looking for quicker results, then upping that to 14 hours, 16 hours, even 18 hours a day can make a big difference. And reason number 4 that meat is great for insulin resistance is that it contains nutrients that improve insulin sensitivity. Chromium is one example. Chromium helps to regulate blood sugar and insulin, which is why it is often isolated into supplements targeted at blood sugar control. But red meat especially contains a decent dose of chromium naturally. Zinc is another nutrient that I want to highlight. Zinc has been shown to help to lower fasting blood sugar, which we've already discussed how that ties in with insulin resistance. And the reason the zinc in meat is particularly good is because our bodies can absorb and use it better when we get it from meat versus plant sources. The zinc in plants is less bioavailable. And that's why it's recommended that vegans and vegetarians who don't eat meat consume up to 50% more zinc. So instead of fussing over ways to get more in through your diet, it's better to focus on more potent sources, aka meat. And that way you get all the other amazing benefits as well. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite type of meat is. I love chatting with you guys in the comment section, and it helps to support my channel. So if you just want to say hi, I appreciate that as well. And before you go, remember to check out Butcher Crowd. I will put the link in the description box down below. If you guys did enjoy this video, you might also enjoy my video on skin tags, what causes them, and how to get rid of them naturally. You can check that out here. If you want to catch up on my most recent upload, you can find that here. And if you want to check out my coaching programs, including my insulin resistance masterclass, you can find those here. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.